What's up, Dean?
How you doing, Jim? Once
Uh,
again.
I'm doing fantabulous. Thank you. I was getting ready in case anyone shows up. I can monitor the comments as opposed to not monitoring the comments.
Uh-huh.
So we just had a momentous occasion this past weekend. It was the debut of the USFL. See, you thought I was going to say Easter and Passover, but it's the debut of the USFL. What's up, Facebook user? I don't know who that is. Make sure you hit the little StreamYard thing to allow them to show us who you are. Otherwise, we don't see it. And it's interesting, Dean. Were you a fan of the USFL back in the early 80s? Probably not, because you're not really the athletic type.
I am, but I don't. When I was a kid, like up until I guess I was through high school, I followed sports, and then when I went off to college, I did not. I just had no interest at all.
So the USFL was kind of neat from the standpoint of it was real football in the spring, and they actually for a while had some of the greatest players in the Super Bowl era start playing for them. Herschel Walker, the guy who played for the Buffalo Bills, went to Super Bowl 4 times, lost every one of them. Jim McMahon. Not Jim McMahon. Anyway.
Elway.
No, not Elway. Elway went 4 times, won twice. Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think. Anyway, they had a bunch of guys, but the bottom line is the football was really good. And then through stupid business decisions, not the least of which was precipitated by a former president who I never could get over the fact that he screwed up the USFL by pushing them to move to, what's up, Corey? By pushing them to move to fall, and then the whole league fell apart and stuff.
Competing with the NFL. Trying
to compete head-to-head with the NFL instead of doing what they were doing, which was filling a niche during the spring. So my point is that it's interesting that the USFL is back, but it's not what it was 40 years ago. It was good, but it wasn't great. So now they're just talking about whether they can even survive the first season. Now they're doing some things that are interesting, like all the teams. They have 8 teams. They have the New Orleans Breakers, the Michigan Panthers, the New Jersey Generals, the Houston Gamblers. Anyway. But they're all in Birmingham, Alabama right now. And they're playing all of the games. All the teams are there. All the teams are playing all the games in the exact same stadium. And then they're going to play 2 playoff games and a championship game in the Hall of Fame stadium that's there in Canton, Ohio. There's a point to all of this, okay? And that is trying to recapture past glory might not be the best thing to do in every situation. Sometimes you just need a new beginning. And I think that's something that people spend a ton of time trying to fix stuff or going back to the way things were instead of just starting with a clean slate and just not repeating the mistakes of the past.
Isn't that our political system? Isn't that the Republican Party? That's what conservatism is, going back to the way things used to be. And as politically, people say, oh, we've got to go back to the old day, to the Reagan days, because those were the great old days. Or we got to go back to whomever. I agree. You got to start new.
Well, the Democrats do the same thing too.
I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying that's the first thing, because when you say conservative, when you say going back to the old days, my head goes to that's what conservatism is. Don't change, keep things the way they are.
Right.
And the way they used to be.
Right. So there's a point, and it wasn't politics. Thanks for violating it. Why don't we just talk about religion and sexual orientation
It
too?
was just the easiest analogy to make without
Yeah.
being political.
But you're not supposed to mention it at all. That's what they said.
So sensitive. Are you being woke?
No, I got this free report
Are you being
from
cancel culture on me?
No, I gave my real email address for a lead magnet that said the 3 things you're never supposed to talk about are politics, religion, and orientation. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Not supposed to talk about. You're going to explode. But in all seriousness, though, I know people that are like waiting for the good old days to come around again. From like 2002, 2003, 2004. It's like if this is the information superhighway they pulled off in the rest stop, they're still pulling the handle on the condom dispenser in the men's room, trying to get something to come out. And it's like, hey man, I mean, this rest stop's been abandoned. This road,
the train has left the station.
Yeah, and they're waiting for stuff to change back, and it's never going to change back.
No,
so when
the world is going one way, that way. That's where the world's going, whether you like it or not. It's going there.
But trying to fix the past, everything's moving so fast now. You might as well.
Yes, Nobby, that's right. Jim said condoms, and you said Mr. Pickle. You are the one that drew that comparison connection. I'm not going there.
So what my whole point is that I see these people trying to either recapture past glory, trying to do things that worked like 10 years ago, wishing that things were different, like fighting against how things are, as opposed to just moving forward, surveying the landscape, seeing how things are, not how you wish they were. That's different than how you want them to be, like being an agent of change, but like sticking your head in the ground. It's disconcerting in a lot of ways, because it's like, come on. Somebody just said in here, I don't know who it is, but in all those remakes of old TV shows, I'm ready for fresh ideas. Yeah, like they remade Magnum P.I., which sucks. They're remaking The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which sucks. They remade Hawaii Five-0, which sucks. All these things just suck. Oh, it's Jesse Valle's here. Dean, Jesse's here. Yeah.
Hello, Jesse.
Oh, I'm going to do better than that. Jesse, check your Voxer.
So can I add to what you just said? Because I love this train that we're on right now.
Yeah, I just sent you the link, Jesse. Jump on here with us.
There's a couple things.
Okay.
One, it's been 40 years. So you got to start peeling to the new generation, the people who don't even know about the USFL, or if they're football fanatics, they heard about it. Why can't we do something with it? But it ain't going to be the way it used to be. As you said, let's make it the new USFL. The other thing too is it's one season. And if this is marketing, it's marketing 101. You can't just put it out there once. And television is notorious for this with sitcoms. They'll run it. They'll see if people latch onto a sitcom in 3 episodes or 4 episodes. And if they don't, they kill it. Yeah. It's just goofy. It's just foolish to do that. It's like killing a funnel or killing your marketing because it doesn't get an initial response or the expectation that you thought it was at once. So you just abandon it all. You just throw it away.
Right.
You got to give things tracked. There's so many things that are vying for people's attention. And football, I mean, how is football fared? How is viewership for football? Is it increasing in viewership? Over the past 10 years, is it decreasing? What's happening? What's the trend here? Because obviously, if they did their marketing and they're investing a ton of money in it, hopefully somebody did their marketing and say, hey, we have a niche to fill here in the off season.
Well, and I think people also, some demographics are looking for an alternative to the National Felon League. So, I mean, that's part of what's going on there too. They want their football without politics or stupidity. They just want sports.
Absolutely. And what you said reminds me of a little bit of the movie, American Underdog, where you had
it's a
the
great
NFL
movie.
was the thing, and then he goes and he plays in the arena football, but yet you got to see not only him but some other fantastic talent. And it's no different than all this unsung talent where there was no outlet and no platform for them. Now you have YouTube and all this thing where you're getting all of these, oh my God, these videocasters, these podcasters, these people who know how to write, who know how to create something on video. You would have never found them during the age of where there were just three network, there's ABC, NBC, and CBS, and that was it. And if you couldn't break into television there, you had to go find another job.
Right. But the key is that they're embracing new media instead of trying to break onto like the three networks. Nobody watches the three networks anymore, except for like really old people or people without cable.
It was just an analogy.
Right. But you're making my point. So that's why I'm helping you out here. And the point is that stop trying to reinvent old stuff. Stop trying to revive a dead dog. You should have a new, fresh thing. Too much stuff is being remade. Too many things are being rehashed, rewashed. Have something new. Same principles, but something new, a new spin on an old idea. Otherwise, you're just doing the same old thing. That's my point.
I couldn't agree more. Find the fresh angle for the USFL. What is it? What's the hook? What's the great hook? Well, it's in the off season, and now we love football here, but we can only watch it 6 months out of the year. But now, hey, we can watch it all year round. And maybe we'll see some new faces, and maybe we'll see some great new talent. And maybe there'll be a team that we can latch onto, a team that isn't in a major city or a different city than the NFL, but now we have these other cities where we can, oh my gosh, this is something we can go out again without a mask on.
So that brings us to the next. So that was point number one. Okay. But point number two, which flows around like right along with it. Okay. So just to summarize, point number one is stop trying to revive the dead with everything is my point, my message to the world. All right. Because it's getting annoying and you're missing a lot of opportunities by trying to hope that the interstate is coming back to your souvenir stand that was working in 1920. It's 2020.
Cats was already done. We don't want to see another roadshow of Cats. Right?
Or Cats tribute. Now, if somebody came out with a satire one called Litter Box, dude, I'd be all over that.
Oh yeah, the sequel.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's where all hell breaks loose, right?
That's right. That's when we find out why spaying and neutering your pets is important, Bob Barker.
Yeah, that's right.
So now we have an interesting situation, Dean. An interesting situation. Some judge all of a sudden made it so that you don't have to wear a mask on planes, trains, and public automobiles.
Yeah.
And do you think we're going to go out with a whimper on this? This is a change. This is talking about change too and adapting to stuff.
Absolutely. And I thought about this today because whenever you have something like this, because you go from got to do this, now you don't have to. You still have two sides. And you're going to sit next to somebody on an airplane without a mask, and maybe the person next to you says, "Hey, could you please put your mask on? I'm uncomfortable sitting next to you." What's going to happen?
I'm going to talk to him about the conversation I had with Nabi about condoms and how condoms and Mr. Pickles is just a matter of personal choice as opposed to requirement. So I wasn't even talking about that though, like sitting down next to somebody and somebody being like, hey, can you put on a mask? And I'd be like, hey, no. Or I already got one on, or I'm eating, or whatever. My point in it was not, I don't know anything about science except I barely passed, okay? But my point is that this is going to have ramifications for business. And this is the kind of thing that we need to be more strategic in forward thinking. I had this all planned out, this whole episode. You know, it was like looking back, now looking forward. Do you see what I'm doing here? I did. There was like a real thing here, but I was trying to be an adult about it and let everybody kind of figure it out. So the looking back was the USFL, waiting for things to change back. The thing moving forward was the mask thing, which is where most people are totally absorbed, is right here. They're looking down at their phone. It's like the only thing that matters is what's happening right here. Nobody looks back, or some people are looking back, waiting for things to change back. Hardly anybody looks forward and tries to think about, what does this mean? And to me personally, okay, if I don't have to wear the mask anymore, all right, if I was in any kind of, you like that drawing?
I do like it. Yeah, I want to see the big version of that.
Okay. Looks like Cartman.
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to wear a mask. So, or the face diaper, whatever way you want to refer to it. But I think there's going to be some real ramifications. Number one, live events. All right, that says live events. That squiggle says live events. I'm just letting you know. So live events, I think they're going to start taking off again. If people can get on a train, a plane, a public automobile, and get there, I think to some degree they'll take off. But then you also have stuff like with cruises. What mandate do they have still? So it's like this maze of mandates that you're going to have to navigate, I think, for the next year or so, which is going to make life and business interesting. So you need to pay attention to this kind of stuff. And are some industries never going to get back to the way they were? And is that necessarily a bad thing? No. So that's
what it is. It's that place where you're gonna make someone uncomfortable, and it's not judging being uncomfortable. It's like, how do I navigate this? It's finding a way just to navigate it.
Sure.
Which has changed, because that in between, where you've got Cartman in between, USFL looking back, Mass looking forward, we're in a period of, we've got an option now, and people have already made up their mind of what they're going to do. But then you also have these thoughts, well, if I don't want to wear a mask and I want to be respectful of the other person, I'll wear a mask. Or I think everybody's going to have their own way of, one, reacting, and two, responding, which are two different things. Reaction is being emotional about it, and responding is being thoughtful.
That's interesting. So reaction is emotion. Response actually is action. If you want to break it down to its basic level, a reaction is an emotionally driven thing. A response is the action you take as a result of your reaction. And
well, I look at them as two different things, personally, but you go ahead with your train of thought.
No. I see them as two separate things either, but before you can have a response, you got to have a reaction. The reaction has to come before the response.
Correct. That's
the
correct.
reaction creates the emotional frame, and then the response is how you act out on that emotional frame.
Correct.
Okay, thanks. I needed your approval. What?
But when somebody says reaction, it goes to, you just had an emotional reaction to it. That was your your response. And when I think of response,
Uh-huh.
responding is kind of stepping back and go, wait, let me react to it first. Let me feel the emotion, take a moment, take a breath. Now, how do I wish to respond? Do I want to respond in the way that when I initially felt that reaction where I maybe wanted to wring somebody's neck or say, yo, that's not right, or you're wrong, or blah,
Dude,
blah, blah.
why are you so worked up about, like, everything's in the negative with you today? Did somebody pee in your
no.
Kellogg's or something?
No, it's not negative.
It is. Everything, oh, he's having a spaz. I was thinking more like if I could induce, like, I was trying to bring this back around to sales copy. In our sales copy, what we want to do is understand the reaction we want somebody to have and then use the copy to guide the response to the reaction to get the action that we want them to take, which is to buy, try, sign up, click.
Yeah.
I had this whole plan, Dean.
And
you're still caught up. You're still caught up in Cartman's mask. I don't care whether people wear masks or not. I really don't. I've been wearing them for 2 years. I'm pretty much used to it. My ears hurt, but the rest of me is okay. And it kind of torques me off a little bit because I trimmed my beard so my mask could fit easier. And now they're telling me that I don't have to wear one anymore. It's irritating. I made a fashion choice and a style choice, and then they rip it out from under me. Come on, man.
So now you're pissed at the judge. That's your reaction.
My reaction is that I think in the end, if we could all just be a little bit nicer to each other and a little bit more understanding and a little bit more patient, especially in these times of emotional change, I think the world would be a much nicer, more pleasant place to be.
Stop judging your neighbor. Stop it. Stop it.
No, I judge you all the time, and we don't even live near each other. I'm
You just said be nicer. How do you be nicer? Why would you be nicer? Just to be nicer? No, so that you don't say that my way is better than your way.
But if I stop judging, how am I going to know if you're nicer? I can judge in a nice way. You know what? Dean's really being nice and patient with me. It's still a judgment. It's a judgment. So you're vilifying me for thinking good thoughts about you, Dean. What a double bind.
Here's where we're differing, which is on the semantic. It's really on the semantic because we are saying the same thing.
Uh-huh.
It's just our definition on how we define reaction, response, and the word judgment. That's all. And I'm taking judgment when I say it in a
negative context.
In the negative, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thus you make my case that everything you've talked about today has been negative. Everything is brought back to the negative. Is there something we need to talk about?
So I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree.
What are you up to? What's your angle? You never agree with me.
No, there's no angle. I just started to understand when I hear the word reaction, because the way I use it is typically toward quote unquote a negative emotion. And the word judgment has its judgment in the other person is wrong, but it's not. That's not the case. They're just words. They're neutral words, and it's the crap that I put on it. It's the value and the weight that I put into those words. And you said, well, no, judging it's either way. You can go either way. A reaction, it could be a happy reaction.
Well, it's okay to go either way now. It's fine. You can't judge me about going either way. You can't judge anything about anybody, but that's a judgment. Lack of judgment is a judgment.
It is.
Who's on first?
That's right. So good. Now we understand one another, finally.
Absolutely. So back to my point.
Yeah.
Okay. At some point, these guys in the USFL are going to have to put on masks.
Moving forward. If they want to fly the team from Birmingham to Jackson, Mississippi, you got to put the mask on.
You got to put the mask on if you want to make it happen.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this was fun. And
did you get your point? Did you make your full point? Because I didn't want to detract from it, and I know I did. But continue if you need to.
Oh, I'll summarize.
Okay.
It's like Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction. Oh, please continue.
Tasty beverage.
Do you mind if I have a drink of your tasty beverage? Oh, yeah, sure, man. It's okay. The whole point of this discussion is that we all got to be open to new ideas, and we all got to be able to roll with change. And in the world that we live in right now, change is going to start coming at us faster and heavier than probably at any other times in our lives. The amount of information, the amount of circumstances, the amount of feelings, the amount of just the weight of everything that's coming our way, the tsunami of it all that we're in is only going to get more intense. And so if you are able to be forward thinking, forward looking, and flexible and able to adapt to change, you're going to do a lot better than the people who are looking backwards, hoping that things are going to change back to the way they were. That was the big point that I wanted to make, that I had this cool draw. I mean, I even did little Post-it notes. I was ready today, Dean, and you know, see that? I was ready.
Well, wait a second. You said, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. And then you did know what you were going to talk about.
It was kind of a segue, Dean. It's what guys say when they're starting off a show like this.
But that's lying.
And that's a judgment.
Now you said, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. And now you just tell me I had everything planned out.
I know, but I didn't want you to
listen to this. I would have been on the Marrakesh Express with you on this.
Look, the whole reason was because I didn't want you to feel bad because you're never prepared. I was trying to spare your feelings. There you go.
Don't ever do that.
I never will again. Never have in the past and never will again.
That's right.
Okay, so we wouldn't be good marketers if we didn't have a call to action. Hey, if you're one of the 3 people left on planet Earth, that's hyperbole, who don't have a copy of Copywriting Secrets, head on over to copywritingsecrets.com. I'll give you a copy, just ask you to pay a small shipping and handling. This will show you how everyone can use the power of words to get more click sales and profits, no matter what you sell or who you sell it to. And Dean, if they want to have somebody to help them out with their copy,
yes,
how can they get in touch with you?
Yes, if you need help writing your copy, headlines, hooks, VSLs, sales letters, email sequences, hit me up. onebigIdeamarketing@gmail.com. And that's the number 1. As Jim would say, the letter 1. The letter 1, bigIdeamarketing@gmail.com.
There you go. Awesome. We appreciate y'all joining us. Absolutely great to see you. Hi, Anna. Hi, Blair.
And get well, Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse, feel better, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.